Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm going to talk to you about two somewhat under-the-radar records that are getting released this Friday. And that is Bill Evans' Undercurrent and Mel Brown Chicken Fat. Both of these are from Jackpot Records. You might be saying, well, no, that Mel Brown Chicken Fat, that came out a couple months back as a Verve by Request. Well, yeah, actually it did. This is the Jackpot version. A couple of slight differences between the two. One, the Jackpot version is on orange vinyl. But more importantly, if you look at the hype sticker, let's get it there. The Jackpot release is cut from the original analog master tapes by Kevin Gray. And it sounds like it. We'll get to that in a minute. And slightly different wording, but Undercurrent, all analog process, doesn't mean it's from the master tapes, AAA, from the original master tapes, which kind of specifies that you would think it's from the analog master tapes. Slightly different wording though. I like how on this one it says cut from the original analog tapes by Kevin Gray, as opposed to all analog process from the original master tapes. I wonder why the slight wording there on two releases that came out simultaneously. Either way, yeah. Two releases that are coming out this Friday. For what it's worth, the Bill Evans, Jim Hall Undercurrent is on black vinyl. I also have, I don't have to show you, but I could talk to you about the Verve by the Request Mel Brown that came out maybe 2 months ago. I think it was done by Ryan Smith, who's doing most of the Verve by Request stuff. Press that third man. I think Jackpot uses Memphis record processing, something of those lines. I'm having a brain fart. I've also got the Mobile Fidelity, Bill Evans and Jim Hall here to show you guys, talk about that. And I have a beautiful original. Oh man, I split the seam of the sleeve. Beautiful Mel Brown Chicken Fat. As well to talk to you guys about. And I'll start here. So, I heard when the Verve by Request came out, and it wasn't bad sounding, but it wasn't anything like monumental, go out, buy it immediately. It didn't give me that vibe. I mean, it wasn't fantastic in that sense. On a side note, if you guys are not familiar with this album, out of the two of these, this is a home run. I would buy this any day of the week. If you are not a jazz fan, this really is more, this is more of, imagine Stevie Ray Vaughan with a proper funk jazz, soul jazz band. That's what this is. I would listen to Mel Brown any day of the week over Stevie Ray Vaughan. This man is a phenomenal guitarist with a proper down and dirty funk band. This record is unbelievably good. I can't recommend it enough. I play this in the store. It sells. Every single time, it's a banger. It is really good. I highly recommend this. Sample the first track, Chicken Fat. You're going to buy the record. But Bill Evans is a little bit more of acquired taste. It is Bill Evans on piano and it's Jim Hall on guitar. Not my typical favorite kind of combination. I like a little bit more driving music, and you're only going to get so much drive out of a piano player and a guitarist, especially if the guitarist is Jim Hall, he's not a bad guitarist, but he's kind of he's not Grant Green. He's an even keel kind of, fits well with Bill Evans, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so let's talk about, actually, on a side note, this photograph was actually taken at Weeki Wachee Springs in my hometown. I swam in this very spring probably 100 times in my youth, and even recently when I go back to Florida, I always go back there. It's a natural spring that comes out of the water, out of the ground. It's like 67 degrees year-round or 69 degrees, something along those lines. And they actually have mermaid shows there. You go under the ground, and there's like a place you watch mermaids swim, and it's quite cool. And there's a water park attached to it. But yeah, Jim Hall Undercurrent. If you're in Florida at any point in the Tampa Bay area, you know, doing a vacation, I highly recommend Wekiwachi Springs Buccaneer Bay. It is unbelievable. Go on the river, you can swim with the manatees. Okay. Sonically, this record is pretty damn good compared to everything else that's come before it. I will say this is not like a Sonic Spectacular. The original is pretty good. Everything else that's ever come out since has been marginal to poor. This particular pressing kind of sounds like Bill Evans is somewhere around here playing the piano. And it always really has sound that. It kind of has a bloated, like wobbly piano sound. And the piano kind of doesn't sound like a properly, it sounds off, almost like the piano has got some sort of effects onto it, or it doesn't have that tight, taut sound from like a freshly tuned piano, if that makes any sense. And the sound on the Mobile Fidelity version of this kind of just like, it's not coherent to the soundstage. Sometimes it is, but then sometimes the piano just kind of like wanders the room. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's not my favorite record, although it's a record that I would recommend to people owning up till this point, because you're probably in a similar situation as me as if you look for this record. I've had multiple originals of this come in. I've never been able to get a clean copy, hence the reason I don't have one to show you. Now, if you have the original, you're probably good and you don't need to seek out another one. If you have a nice, clean, quiet original. But finding a nice, clean, quiet original of Undercurrent for me has been the absolute bane of my existence. I have not, to this day, been able to find one. But, so this has been one of those things, it's like like an it'll do type of copy. Do you know what I mean? So then the analog Kevin Gray cut comes, and I'm not going to say this is like light years better. It's not like the difference between an 8-track and like a Music Matters jazz title. It's not like that. But this is significantly better. It's significantly better in a couple of areas. One, Bill Evans actually sounds like he's playing a piano with nice, tight, taut keys, notes that ring out. It has a soundstage, I think, that's more to where it needs to be, and it just doesn't like wander the room. And also, that helps the guitar a little bit too. The best thing about this record is how everybody's now back on the soundstage, and that's been the issue I had with the Mobile Fidelity. Jim will start playing, and again, he wanders the room. I wonder if there's like a technical term for that, or what causes that. I'm not even sure. But it kind of has that. Some people might like that. I wouldn't see why. Maybe on the right system that might have a desirable effect. But for me, this particular version of this record is, God, if you guys are a fan of this record, you really want to pick up this Jackpot release. I don't see it ever being done better than this. And you're going to work really, really hard to find an original. And without comparing them side to side, I can't comment, but it's very possible you'll get an original and it won't sound this good. But don't hold me to that, because it's been a while since I've heard one. But I remember listening to the original back in the day and then going to the MoFi and being like, okay, the original. But I couldn't get past the noise and the popping and the clicking from relatively clean copies. VG Plus are better. So I never kept one, because it's one of those things that, yeah, I could keep it as a placeholder, but it's not my favorite album, and it's not something I would really keep as a placeholder. If it was like one of my top albums, I would have to have it as a placeholder, but it wouldn't even be a placeholder for long, because I'd end up replacing it after a while. Do you know what I mean? But at this point in time, this is a hell of a record, man. Just look at the cover quality as well. Like, look how much better the jacket is as well. Really nice, quiet vinyl. No complaints there. It's a kind of not really a textured cover, but it kind of has a little, it's not gloss, so it's befitting the original. But yeah, man, they did a hell of a job at this. I have a feeling this is going to sell out. Hopefully they can repress it. Highly recommend this one, okay, if you're a fan of this record. Okay, now let's get to the Sonics and the Mel Brown. The Mel Brown is the winner here. If you are like, just trust me and go buy this record. If you like guitar, you like funk, you like, I mean, just go buy this record. This will be, I think it's under 30 bucks. This will be like your favorite record you've bought recently for under 30 bucks. It is just an absolute banger. This particular version is so damn good. This is like Blue Note level quality sound. Cut by Kevin Gray, all analog from the master tape. This record just absolutely smokes. Musically, sonically, it kills the Verve by Request, not only in sonics, but in pressing quality, and it just wipes the floor with the original. It's not even close. This record really has every single thing going for it. What an absolute banger. I'm actually putting this record on my top 100 imprint analog records you should own list. It's so good. Sonically, I can't rave about this particular record enough. You guys really got to own this record. It's absolutely fantastic. What a winner. You know, Mel Brown had a couple albums after this. Not somebody that's really talked about anymore, but yeah, great guitar player. Fantastic record, and a really nice surprise from Jackpot. Jackpot's really been on a roll lately. They did the Booker T stuff, that was Kevin Gray cut, and there's about 15, I want to say, off the top of my head, there's about 15 analog records within the Jackpot catalog right now, all analog cut from the master tape by Kevin Gray. So they're putting out some dynamite stuff. Now, they don't go all out on the covers, and they're not doing the 180 gram RTI QRP stuff, but the records have always been quiet, and I've had no issues with them, and I actually don't mind if the record's not 180 grams. The cover, yeah, it'd be nice if the cover was a little nicer, but to be honest, it'd be $10 more if it was, so I don't mind it not being either. But what a hell of a record. What a banger. And if you're a Bill Evans fan, like I said, I might rave a little bit more about the Bill Evans if you got to be in the mood for Bill Evans, and with Bill Evans and Jim Hull, you really got to be in the mood. It's not that it's a bad mood. It's just, you know, it's a slower kind of mood record that I often don't find myself in the mood to listen to. But sonically, what an improvement. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm excited to have a new top 100 in-print analog record you should own. I feel like the list doesn't get attended to as much as it should. But man, when I hear something that's of the caliber of this, it's like, and it's the price that this is. It's like, that needs to go on the list. So I highly recommend it. You can buy these two. You don't need the originals. You could stop here. All right, guys. Check us out online at the website, theingroove.com. Until next time.